to the entertainer talking sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video, and today we're going to talk about Isaiah Simmons, probably the most coveted player in terms of the New York Giants fan base for this combine. It's a player that I would say at least half the fan base is all in on. He seems to be the guy that everybody has gotten behind since now that we've missed out on Chase Young, and I completely get it. A lot of people think that defense is the number one priority. Half the fan base seems to think offensive tackle. Half the defense seems to think get that impact defensive player, and something that I think Simmons would be. And Simmons definitely does fit the modern-day NFL. He's a guy that could do a variety of things. He also fits what Joe Judge is trying to do perfectly. I made a video on this. The guy has played everything, but to me, his most valuable attribute is his coverage skills. For a man of his size, it's incredibly valuable. He stands at 6'4". The guy would be capable of covering an elite tight end. He could cover any slot wide receiver. I can't wait to see his 40 time. I think he's going to run in the 4.3s. And I could see him showing up draft charts, and I certainly could see the New York Giants, if they elect to go with a defensive player, take Isaiah Simmons at number 4 overall, unless they trade down to 6 and maybe snag him there. But Simmons had a lot to say today, showed a lot of confidence. I'm only going to go over a few of the quotes, but really encouraging things, showed some confidence, and he really just talked about his biggest strength, which is his versatility and his ability to do everything. And like I've said before, I think he fits not just what Joe Judge is trying to do. I think he fits the modern-day NFL to a T. More and more offenses are constructing their team to be able to beat you in the slot, whether it's the tight end or whether it's a slot wide receiver. And to combat that, you need players like Isaiah Simmons. And nobody in this draft, or really in recent drafts, I think is more equipped to do what he can do. And I think he's fully capable of shutting down any tight end in the league, to go along with pretty much any slot wide receiver. So let's jump into some of the quotes that came out of the mouth of Isaiah Simmons. There he is at the podium today when he was being asked questions. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Simmons is going to partake in some drills Saturday, I believe. It might be Friday. I know it's not tonight, but I'll get you the answer tonight when I live stream. Here is the first tweet. Clemson's Isaiah Simmons is by far the most versatile player in this year's draft class. When he was asked what position he plays, Simmons replied, defense. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter get excited about that, and a lot of Giants fans pointed me to that, and people like that, man. This guy says, you know what, I don't play a position. I'm a guy that does everything, and you could put wherever the coach wants me to play, I'm going to play, and that is my biggest value. And some people will argue that's his biggest weakness because he doesn't have a defined position, but I think it is incredibly valuable in today's game to be able to do everything like he can. In 2019, Simmons lined up at safety, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, middle linebacker, cornerback, and also rushed the passer. Had 8 sacks, 8 passes defended, 3 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Just going over the stats and talking about what he's talking about, that he's just a football player, and going over his versatility. Here's the next quote. Isaiah Simmons on knowledge requirements to play multiple positions. Mentally, I feel there isn't anything I can't do. I've played every position except nose or the 3 technique. So again, just going over, what he brings to the table. Just his knowledge at playing all these different types of positions and the success that he's had doing it. And then finally, this was a quote off Isaiah Simmons today. There isn't anything I can't do. Somebody has got to stop the Travis Kelce and George Kittles. And he's absolutely right. Really since Gonzalez and Antonio Gates, it's become more and more prevalent with Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez. Pass-catching tight ends have become more and more of a weapon that's used in today's NFL. And the Giants, I think more so than any team, they got to be up there, have gotten destroyed by the tight end position and slot wide receivers over the last decade because of their lack of coverage skills at the linebacker position. Now, they certainly have some guys that could do a variety of things, but Jabril Peppers is not the size of this guy. He's not capable, in my opinion, of doing all the things that Isaiah Simmons can do. And if the Giants were to bring him in, I think he would certainly help in that aspect. No longer would you see Blake Jarwin catching 3 touchdowns like he did a couple of years ago against the New York Giants. And it would be a really nice thing to have. The question is it our number one priority? And I don't think we'll know our number one priority till after free agency, till after we address some other needs, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the linebacker position, whatever it may be. If we go out there and we sign a couple of linebackers like Corey Littleton, who's a very similar player, don't expect the Giants to pursue Isaiah Simmons. But if they attack Jack Conklin or maybe another tackle in this year's free agency class, Isaiah Simmons may very well be the number one guy at the top of their list. But was at the Combine today, showed a lot of confidence, and, showing you what I think a lot of people like about him. His versatility and his willingness to be able to play all those different types of positions definitely adds to what I think the New York Giants and a lot of teams will be looking for when they draft him on draft night. But as always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.